Uh-huh.
we were discussing last month, so I thought everybody knows in action about this event that we are subsequently proposing.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I didn't realize that it was not so. I needed to communicate more. I didn't know that, anyways. But yeah,
Yeah,
so
well, it's good to connect today, and
yeah,
we'll have a really good session in August.
yes, yes,
So I think that that'll work just as well.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So
Yeah, no, this is great. Thank you for this time, and would like to be able to get prepared much more ahead of time, just to make sure that we're also delivering exactly what it is that you're looking for.
yeah,
Um, so, today just wanted to, get some of the logistics in terms of, the date that's going to work best, as well as even the time that you're thinking. And then, how long you would like the session to be, like what it is that we have space for. So I think those are like the big three questions. Would like to get those things hammered out, and then we can talk about, what exactly we want the agenda to look like. And I don't know, Amit, if there's anything in addition to that that you need.
No, just that is Saibal also joining Sagita, or
he should
should we
join.
just
Just now we finished one meeting, so I am asking
sure,
him
Oh,
to join.
sure,
Just
oh,
we are out of one meeting, so I'll ask him to join, or he will be with me here. Let me ask him.
yeah. Feel free. I mean, whatever is, uh,
Action has
yeah.
started. Please join. Please join. नहीं, actually Axion has sent, and it was from Laura.
and I'm happy to resend if needed.
Yeah,
I'm
Amit
there.
is
Yes,
there.
Saibal. I
Laura is there. Yes, yes. So I requested him to join from his laptop so that we don't get confused things.
Yeah, it makes it easier.
Yeah.
Oh, and really quickly, just so that you know, I'll need to drop off in 25 minutes.
No issues.
But Amit can stay on. I don't know that we'll need that much time, but Amit can stay on
Yes, yes.
in case we need to talk longer.
Hi
sure.
Amit, how are you?
Good. Hey, I am very well, Saibal. Good to be connected again.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
Uh, and yes, Radha is also there, Saibal. So yeah,
Where are
great.
you, Amit? Are
I
you
am
in
based out
India?
of Bangalore, Saibal. So
Where are
it's
you?
based out of Bangalore.
Ah, I know, I know. Where are you? You keep on traveling, so I'm asking.
No, no, very much in Bangalore, Cyber.
Okay.
If I can say so, that's a bit of positive outcome of COVID. I mean, more settled,
Mm.
less
True,
travel,
true,
a
true,
lot of
true.
things happening there. Great. So let's start. Radha, considering Radha has to, yeah, I think we should be able to wrap up in next 20-25 minutes. Radha,
Ah,
please.
Yeah, so I think today, first we wanted to settle on some of the logistics in terms of the date we're looking at doing the session, the time, as well as how long we'd like the session to be. So would like to, get those decided, and then we can talk about the agenda in terms of what you would like us to be able to share. With the participants. So yeah, let's go ahead, and would love to talk about the date, time, and the length of the session. What are you guys thinking? Oh, we can't hear you, Saba. No, still can't. I think there's something with your headphones.
Saibal, it seems you are on mute. We are not able to hear you.
We could hear you before you put on your headphones. So is there a thing? Sometimes there's a thing on the headphones that you have to click to turn them on. It's on like I don't know. Anyway, so we couldn't hear what you said. If you could please repeat, that would be great. Oh, I guess we can't hear you at all.
You, tell him, Sunny, उनको बोलो he is on mute. You are on mute, Saibal. No, you are on mute, Saibal.
Am I audible now?
Yes.
Yes. Yep.
Am I audible now?
Yes, yes.
Just I don't know what is happening over here. Just am I audible now? Okay. So now it's audible. So let us start. Sorry for this inconvenience.
So, Saibal, Zada was checking on what will be the date and time for our proposed call.
Are you talking about the call or the event itself?
The event itself. Just wanted us to decide on the date and time that you guys were thinking for that, and then even how long, we'd have to do the session. Half hour, what are we looking at?
See, the thing is that the date we have to. So this month, Sangeeta, what are you seeing our calendar? Possibly this month, can we do it, or next month we have
No, this month we cannot do at all.
to take it
Yeah,
forward?
August is the month. But already we have so many other events also going on. So on second, third, something is scheduled already. So we have to find out the dates also. Yes.
So Sangeeta, is it like a first half of August or second half of August we can schedule?
First half, yes, we can do.
Okay, okay. So what we will do, Laura and Amit, that we will come back to you
I think
because
that's okay, Zada, right?
we also need.
Yeah, just very quickly, if at all possible, we can do the first week of August. That would be ideal for us. But if that does not work for you, totally fine. We
will try
work with
to
that
make
as
it.
well. But just throwing that out there in case that's an option.
So we will definitely look at that if it is possible to do it, conduct it on this your first week of August. Then we will come back to you. Second thing, that when we are talking about this presentation and everything, so what we do generally, it's a kind of like 2 hours, 1.5 hours to 2 hours session, where
Great.
there is this introduction, and then there is a presentation, and there is a discussion on it. Because we are, in this case, we are looking forward for your change management, especially that what kind of change, what is adaptive change, and all these things. And what Devdut was telling me that in India you have worked only with 2 institutions. Then I was telling, why don't you bring the international experience into it? That how they have adopted, what's the positive side of it, how have it impacted. So if we can bring all those things, will be very good for us and for the industry.
No, that sounds
As
great.
a national association, and also like this extending. Are you telling something? Yep.
No, I was just going to say that sounds great. In terms of, because our approach, our change management approach is pretty, it's the same globally because the
Mm,
structure that we propose
mm,
is what we believe works like universally.
mm,
But what I was thinking is,
mm,
we could how we're thinking about this is presenting on change management and kind of talking about why they need to pay attention to this and the different aspects of change management when they're thinking of implementing it, why it's important, and then how to use it. And then was thinking that we could even set up a case study for them
mm.
to give some direction with the discussion. I don't even know if we could do breakout groups or whatever, but do, some sort of case study where they then are taking what they've learned, and determining what they feel might be the best structure in terms of like the level of change management they think would be required for that particular project, what they think the risk could be there, and then, who would be responsible for what, and what are some, points of failure that they would need to consider to make sure that they've taken that into consideration when creating their change management plan. So that's kind of how we were thinking about it. Obviously, answering the questions that you had originally posed, definitely speak to all of those. But I think the last question that you posed really kind of got into us being able to then talk about the framework that we have found to work the best globally. So I don't know what you think about that.
So, so there are three areas which I think it would be good. You are talking about the different aspect of change management, which is very, very much necessary. Second, you are talking about how to use it, like the framework you have developed, and you think it is fit for everyone. It's very good. Definitely, there should be. And do you want to narrate the impact through case study, or you want to give some statistics and give the understanding? Sangeeta, if you can mute
Yes, I'm not able to mute myself.
yourself,
That is the problem.
you mute yourself.
Oh, I might be able to. Oh, I can mute her.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I have that power since I set up the meeting.
Uh,
Don't take it personally, Sangeeta.
No, no.
No, so I was asking that do you want to, because you have told everything, if you don't show the impact of it, that how
Right.
so how do you want to show it? Is it through case studies, or you want to give a overview that these many
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
institutions, they have adopted this and they have seen this kind of changes? How do you want to show it?
Yeah. Yeah, we can definitely share some case studies. I think that it would be helpful for us to also share some areas that you can measure to see whether or not you've implemented the proper change management
Hmm.
activities, right? So there are things that you need to be doing along the way to make sure that you're headed in the right direction. And if there are any changes that you need to make within the project, like it kind of helps you see that and then, make the adjustments and then move in whatever direction you need to go. But I think that what is tricky about measuring change management is that there's some very basic things that you can do that seem very change management in terms of like employee engagement, for example. But when we're looking at the success of a project, we can definitely see where we implemented the change management activities and when it increased in terms of the adoption of the tool. But I think that change management is difficult to measure, to be able to say there were no other, you know, variables that played into this being successful, right? Because some of change management is the adoption of the tool. Like when your change management plan was done well, adoption is 100%, right? But there are other things in addition to change management that help create higher adoption of a tool. And so what change management does is it ensures that that adoption does happen. Like it can go from like low adoption to high adoption, right? But then there are other things that can impact the project success. So the only reason I'm telling you that is to just say that there is a caveat in terms of we can show how those different projects were successful. But it would be very hard for us to say this is specifically because of change management, just because we were tackling the project from a lot of different ways. So just throwing that out there. But we can definitely tell organizations what are the areas that we look to determine whether or not the change management, activities have been successful. I don't know,
Yeah.
Ahmed, if you want to add something in, because just even thinking about some of the direct projects that you've done change management on in India.
Right.
Mhm.
So, Paul, I just, and again, I mean, obviously with you, so just as I was suggesting, so we did a project with Dwara KGF, Chennai based. Uh, Overall theme is we have introduced omni-channel initiatives in the project, omni-channel digital initiatives. So WhatsApp channels is introduced to communicate with the customer. We are building a whole middle level of technology. Say we have introduced a customer relationship management. So that's a big change, right? Earlier they were doing, say, a direct team of agents were just calling customer and then doing everything in Excel, etc. Now that is all now system driven. So which was a big change for the staff. So what all we have done as part of change management, which is primarily a lot of focus on training, uh, making sure the incentive structures are aligned, and communication. So that's like a framework that we use. That if you want to implement change management, these are the three things that you need to do: training, incentives, and communication. So we can talk about examples and say, okay, when we did this and did this effectively, X was the change, or in terms of speed of change. So just one example. Similarly, there are quite a few examples. So that we can discuss, that we can talk about. Maybe rather the case study that we are looking at also has inputs like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, Simon. So I hope we are helping you to suggest how we can look at the impact side. Saibal, Sangeeta, is that fine?
Yeah, I understood very well what exactly you're trying to tell.
Mhm.
So, Laura, I agree with you that if you want to see the outcome is not really single source input can have, I mean, can change that output.
Hmm. Hmm.
So single source it cannot. So we can totally understand, and what Amit is talking about is bringing these experiences. So both of the things work with us,
Great.
and also if you can also indicate the challenge side,
Hmm.
like
Oh, yeah.
what are the challenges
No problems
in
there.
so what are the challenges in adoption? What are the challenges? Like
Yeah.
they have adopted, they have got another set of challenge. So if there
Mhm.
is any experience of that one, in many a cases we have seen that the organization is running very well without any understanding. It is like ignorance. And then once we adopt the tool, we could we could understand that there is a major problem in the institution. Then we started working, I mean, in that one. So if you have that experience also, it would be very good. So it will like 50 minutes or 35 minutes presentation from your end. Then there will be a discussion. There will be a little bit of introduction, then your presentation, then there will be this discussion, and then we will, I mean, we will have a close, and then we will start working together somewhere.
uh,
So we're
so
looking at, sorry, 35 to 40 minutes presentation and then like 45 minutes discussion,
It may be
or
10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes as our member require.
okay.
Yeah.
But Cyber, do you envisage a sort of free discussion? Rana, if I understood you and Cyber initially you were suggesting like 1.5 hours to 2 hours. So then we
Yeah.
can look at like a workshop session, like a training workshop session, and we can initially set up the context in 30-35 minutes. Then through a case study,
Yep.
run a sort of session, which will definitely be have discussions. People will use their own experience, shake their outcome, and sort of suggest them a sort of solution that was used in that case. So more like a training session workshop. So that can be one mode. Uh, what we initially picked when you were saying that we could have 1.5 to 2 hour session. All what you are suggesting now that let it be about an hour, 15 minute, 30, 35 minute, 40 minute presentation in which also we can bring all those things. What is change
Yeah.
management, certain frameworks, small cases, challenges, and then it's an open discussion of 15, 20, 30 minutes, whatever questions participants have. Both is possible. But based on your experiences, what would be the most suitable and most impactful? Suggest that. Happy to
Mhm.
work on both these approaches.
So when I was talking about 1.5 hour to 2 hours, it
Mhm.
is, your this 40 minutes presentation, and then 40 minutes won't be 40 minutes. It would be little bit more possibly. Then it runs into 50 minutes. Then we have a discussion. So it will be around 20-25 minutes. So it overall we see that it is around 1.5 hours. It runs like that. That's what.
Okay.
But I
I
am
see.
very interested to understand that if you want to run a workshop thing, what exactly will be there, it would be very interesting. That workshop on change management. It would be very interesting, actually, isn't it, Sangeeta?
Yes, actually, what
You are on mute.
uh,
Oh,
can you unmute?
I can ask to unmute. There we go.
Yeah, yeah. So I was thinking it should be say 15 minutes presentation at first, and then there will be this case studies based on the questions that comes from the audience, because it's a new thing for them, you know. So they
Yeah.
will not listen to the gyan type thing, the knowledge part much, but they will have lot of questions once you introduce the subject, you know. Then we
Mhm.
can, with all these small case studies, we can answer their questions, so that will be very interesting, in fact.
Is it what Amit was thinking?
Amit was thinking
What
like he was
Amit?
he was thinking like, say, it should be a 35-40 minutes presentation, but I am suggesting that it should be 50 to 20 minutes presentation, and then the case studies have to be along with the answers.
So we
Case
will
study,
not be
it
able to
means you are talking about the
cover,
impact, right?
yeah, we could not cover change management in 15 minutes. That would
No, no,
be,
I'm telling you what
yeah.
exactly he is trying to tell is
Okay.
like you introduce change management in like 15, 20, 25 minutes. Then another 20 minutes, 25 minutes, you talk about the impact. The case study she is talking about, she is trying to tell you that the impact side, what's the output of it? What did you see after adopting
Okay. So yeah, so
the change management?
it's
This is
less
what she is
about,
talking about.
yeah, so it would really not be us telling them how to implement it. It would just really be talking about change management and then sharing some case studies and then opening it up for
Yes, you
discussion.
are true. You are
Okay.
true. You are right. No, no, you are right. You are here. We will be missing your this how to adopt it.
Yeah, I mean, it's really what do you want them to get out of it, you know? And so if it is them walking away with tools of the different aspects of change management and what needs to exist when creating a change management plan, then that's different, right? If we are assuming they already have that information and they just want to know why change management is important, and I mean, just telling them why change management is important and giving them case studies is really, in my
No,
mind,
no, no,
actually
no.
just an
It won't work.
introduction to it.
It
And
won't
that's,
work. No, no, it
yeah,
won't work. It won't work.
no.
The way we were thinking that introduction of the change management, aspects of the change management, then how to adopt that change management, and what are the
Yeah.
impact of change management, what you have seen would be the good flow to do. And when we are
Okay.
discussing about the impact of the change management, that's also you will bring in the case studies.
Yep. Yep. Okay. So, I mean, we would need, if we could get 40 minutes to do all of
Perfectly
that,
fine.
that would be
Perfectly fine.
great. And then 20, 15, 20
20
minutes
minutes.
for
Yeah.
discussion. Yeah.
But
Okay, cool.
the other, it is good, but I want to
Hmm.
also understand what Amit was telling. Then about the workshop mode, what exactly is that one, Amit?
No, so Paul, and
Amit,
I
I
think
need to drop off,
no,
but
sure,
if you
sure,
can just share with me after where you guys land.
yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Uh,
Laura.
so Paul, generally workshop mode, then we go a little into execution pieces, right? How you execute, what are some of the challenges as well. And to my mind, that may be a different target audience one, and it may be a little it may take a little longer. So I think for the first round, I think we are in good direction, which is these 45-minute to 60-minute session where we are able to establish what is change management, why is it important, and with 1 to 2 case studies discuss how certain institutions have brought about change management, incorporated change management, and what value it provided to them, right? And then open for discussions, question answer, etc. That's a solid 60 minutes.
Yes, very
if
much.
there is if there is strong interest that we gauge, then Cyber we can plan for a longer session, maybe with a little different target audience, and then do like a training workshop session, right? That could be 1.5 hour session as to uh, yeah, so yeah, bring about change management in your institution. So more
I
like
think it's a good idea. It's a good idea. I think it's a good idea.
but let it be for subsequent session. Let's
Yes.
just
Yes.
Can
introduce
I
it,
can I
Mm.
say
gauge the
something?
interest, and then Sangeeta, please.
Yes, yes. So what I am suggesting is your this event will be the fifth in the sequence when we will be
Right.
doing it, and we have started from somewhere like say digital solution for the end client engagement, and we have taken it step by step to further sessions. So we are not concluding in just one session, but we are building our case from
Perfect.
step to step. So my concern is not to put many concepts into the heads of these
Exactly.
people, and this will be in the subsequent sessions. Yes, all in
Perfect.
workshop
Perfect.
mode. That will be very fine for our audience. Yes.
Perfect. So just one question, Saibal and Sangeeta. So who generally is our target audience? And I assume this is a virtual call, right? We will do it over
Yes.
Zoom or whatever.
Yeah.
But who generally is the target audience? How many? Because all those will have the impact in terms of how we think about the methodology.
So in most of the cases, we get very senior representative
Okay.
from the microfinance sector.
Hmm.
So these are the mostly the senior decision makers of the institution. Uh,
Okay.
because it is not at the it's your implementation side, your this regional people or something. They generally don't come in this kind of thing.
Okay.
So this is very senior, most probably very senior people, they come
Sure.
into this. But when we will be targeting our next session, when we organizing our next session, our target, we need to understand which segment we should be bringing in and the change management. Possibly the COOs or chief business officer or
Yeah. So this level, Saibal, what we will
in
be
the smaller
talking.
MFIs, it may be the CEOs will be bringing.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah,
Because someone who really needs to understand the importance and
all
then
right,
push. So
right.
no, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
And generally, how it's last time the call that Dave did, there was almost about 78, 80 participants. So is that on an average number or
Our average number is, I mean, it is always 80 and above. And
great? So on an average there.
last time when it was with Sidvi, it was more than 350.
Oh wow, wow. No, then yeah, we need to have that kind of format. So no, Paul, great. What I suggest, Paul, is one, definitely we will do the minutes of meeting, so high level understanding. And then let us also prepare a sort of draft structure. And maybe in 2 weeks' time, let's connect again, and we will like you to take you through that what is our plan, what all we plan to cover, capture, and maybe a quick 45-minute session with you guys just to bounce off what we had planned and what's your feedback on that. And accordingly, we can incorporate that feedback and then be ready for this call. So, does that sound good?
Yep.
Yeah, perfect. Anything else, Sangeeta, Paul, that comes to your mind?
Right now, this is fine, and let's have it.
Great. No,
Yes.
look forward. We are very
Yep.
excited. Well,
And that
so yeah,
communication plate that you always made, first time you made, that was very good. Will you take responsibility for this time as well?
sure. I will include Shajin, Sangeeta. So that's our communication person. So
Okay.
I will also keep her in loop along with Dave. So we are all clear and we plan out. So just important thing that you're into is to finalize date, and sooner we are able to do that, uh, then it's easier because she starts communicating and reaching out, etc., etc. So
Okay.
that helps.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect. Hey, thanks a lot. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
bye, bye.
Good to reconnect with you.
Absolutely, Sabu. Great. Bye, bye.
Bye.
Bye.